last night we did our last week of Take Me Back, which was so good. You did a great job.
Thanks. Thank you.
And we talked about your infamous Sloppy Joe pie, which is something I will never forget. Before you even told the story, I was laughing. Like, nobody knows why I'm laughing yet. But have y'all ever had a dinner experience that was special or unique like that?
I feel like mine's not bad food. I hope who I'm talking about never sees this video.
Right, I got a little bit of fear of that too.
Super embarrassing. The first thing that came to my mind, sorry, is I was talking to this guy in college. We went to his mom's house for the weekend and she made strawberry cake. And I was like, no, that looks disgusting. And so I
love
told
strawberry
them
cake.
that I was allergic to strawberry. And then it was done and I was like, that looks delicious. But then I couldn't have any because I was allergic to the strawberry. So I just had to miss out. I was like, well, I can take some Benadryl. She's like, no, honey, I don't want you to do that. So that's probably, it's like the most memorable one.
That's good.
It was bad for me, not anybody.
Mine was pretty recent. I was trying to surprise Caroline because she'd always talked about her and her dad would go to Academy and get the freeze-dried meals. I was like, that's cute. We'll do a little picnic, whatever. You have to boil them, but I didn't know she was only talking about the ice cream, like the freeze-dried ice cream bars.
Like the astronaut.
Yeah, the astronaut ice cream. That's all she was talking about. They didn't get the meals, so I got us 2 meals. I got like chicken and dumplings and like SpaghettiOs. Disgusting. And actually, it didn't taste bad. It was all right. It was like a 4 out of 10. But later that night, we're sitting out back in her backyard, and I'm like, Caroline, I'm gonna get up really quick, and I'm gonna go puke over the fence. You don't be worried about it. I'll be back in a second. We'll go home. I'll brush my teeth. But I don't think that sat well with me. But that was.
Yeah.
I don't
How
imagine
much did
why.
it cost? How much did that meal cost?
Like $4.
A piece? Or
He's such a cheap.
I like me a cheap date.
So it was total $2 a piece?
I think it was like probably maybe $4 each. They were cheap.
Big spender.
They spend it. All right, I'm going in debt because of this girl. I'll edit that out though. Sorry, Caroline.
Oh, that's good. Do you have one?
I can't instantly think of one. Like all of the fun things I've been gone for. So like my mom almost burned down the porch once, Sterling. I was there for that, and there's been a lot of them, and I've never been around for any of them.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty, and I just
Right.
can't think of them. So yeah, sorry, I'm boring.
Well, I have like an infamous one. Floyd and I kind of have nicknames for pretty much everybody I dated before him because I just had special experiences. So I went to Lubbock to go see this guy.
Rebecca.
Yeah, I know, right? It didn't work out.
I don't think you should celebrate this part.
He was a youth minister, and I thought I was going to marry a youth minister. I wasn't like actively looking for one, but yeah, it worked out. And he like was hanging out with the seniors for like kind of like a senior Bible study with the like head youth minister. And so the guy grilled steaks, and he had like 2 steaks and a baked potato. So he already ate a lot. And I knew one of his youth kids from summer camp, whole long story. So I was eating smoothies with her, and he came over and he had a smoothie after that. He was like, I want to show you this apartment, not because it was weird, but because like this guy at the church made it so that he had free rent. I was like, it's just really cool. I want you to see this blessing. I was like, okay. So we go over and he's like, hey, I'm not feeling too good. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, you're fine. He was like, do you mind just like sitting in my living room for a little bit? I'm gonna go into my room for a little bit, which there was a bathroom in there. I was like, okay. And he was fasting from TV. Well, he's like, it's fine. You can turn on the TV. I was like, okay. And the only 2 options were like Dr. Dolittle, and something else. And either one made me feel kind of embarrassed. Anyways, he went back to the bathroom for a very long time. And I didn't know what to do. And then he came back, and then he had to leave again. And he came back and sat down. I was like, do you need like medicine or like a cold towel or something? Like, what? He's like, I'm gonna be all right. And I was like, okay. He's like, why don't you tell me a little bit about your family? I was like, okay. And it just got worse and worse. And he just had to leave over and over and over again. And finally he was like, I've really got to take you back to your hotel. And I was like, okay, it's been super fun. So we never went out again. But Floyd and I call him Poopy Pants because the man could not keep it together that night.
You didn't go on another date after that?
No, and it wasn't me. I still thought he was cute, but he met his wife like pretty soon after that, or right around then. So
He probably didn't eat cheesesteaks then.
maybe. I mean, kind of a dummy, but I guess I just like guys that like to eat. I don't know. I feel like I should have picked a different experience.
No, I think that was great.
That was.
Good
Floyd
job.
one time met him.
Yeah.
He was like, Michelle, I
You call
think
him
Hey, what's up,
poopy
poopy
pants,
I did. Well, I didn't call him
What
Poopy
up,
Pants,
Poopy?
but I texted Michelle and was like, I think I'm sitting next to Poopy Pants.
it was at like a church minister conference.
Yeah, we started talking. I don't even remember his real name.
I don't want to say it.
Oh,
This
okay.
gets posted
That's
online.
probably- yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I was trying to think of an experience. I think most of mine are just like, I will experiment with food,
That's true.
and some of those experiments go bad.
It's very true.
Like there was one time, I think
You are a good cook, though. I do want to say that. After sharing the sloppy Joe pie, I want people to know that you are a very
Thanks.
good cook.
Thank you.
I like when you cook.
But-
Not sloppy Joe pie.
hadn't made. I don't remember the last time I made one, but I tried. So I think it's like the Cowboys games. They have like pulled pork nachos.
It was either that or the Mavericks game.
Yeah,
one of those.
game, and it was like this was money. I've got to try this at home, and so like I made. I tried to make a pulled pork, and I did it in the crock pot, and
This was early on.
I don't know what I did wrong, but like that bad boy was like it was like still like really tough. And, it's supposed to fall apart. It did not fall apart.
It wasn't pulled pork. It was
wasn't
like
pulled-
break pork. That's
I was-
not funny.
yeah,
that was a bad joke.
I was trying really hard, and so
Right.
then like I was like, oh, it's fine. Maybe if I start chewing it, it'll soften. I don't know.
That's usually what happens. Yes.
But then I tried to make rotel, but then that
You didn't even
didn't-
make
Babe
rotel?
Rotel?
I didn't.
I mean, you're like a
melted.
Velveeta block and some
I-
can of
I know.
rotel.
No,
It was-
Floyd, Rotel is a can of tomatoes.
But
But
like
you
with
call
the-
it the
with-
queso rotel.
Right, with the Velveeta and the rotel like tomatoes.
So 2 ingredients that you just like microwave.
I know, guys.
Put it on the stove if you want to get fancy.
It was stressful. Michelle was gone. I think she was in.
I was
I
in
think it was
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so it was me by myself, and I was like, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna put cheese and
And-
tomatoes.
and pulled pork. And like,
Oh,
guys, it was just like at the game. I wanted barbecue nachos,
Which is so funny because you're so good at pulled pork
and
now.
I screwed it up so bad.
And you make a lot of things, but you just weren't
I
smart
threw.
yet.
It was like a 6-pound pork and
for yourself.
I told you I like guys who can eat.
So between that and the block of cheese, I just threw it all away, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not.
Why'd you go to Chick-fil-A afterwards?
I don't know where I went, but that was supposed to last me the whole weekend. And like the first few guys, I was like, this isn't working, and I just threw it all away. I was done with
I
it.
give
I just
up.
have one question. At the game, was like the pork in one bowl and then the queso in another
No.
bowl?
No,
was
you
so-
mix them together. It
was
is good.
So
Okay.
good.
It is good.
Look at her. She's looking at me like, nah, girl. But she didn't like
What
strawberry
I
cake,
made was
evidently.
not good. Okay, let's just go and put that out there. What I made was not good. It got thrown away really quickly. So
That's fair.
if I'm thinking of any experience, that one still stresses me out.
It's okay. Let it go, baby.
It's a
Let it
bad
go.
night. Bad night. Okay, so last week or I guess a couple of weeks ago, whenever we recorded last, whenever that was, we talked about just like some of our struggles in faith, and those times when we felt far from the Lord. And as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about like how I came back to being close to the Lord. For me, like music played a big part in that. I remember when I talked about me struggling like my senior year of high school. I remember going to a Bible study a lot like the Porch, and so a college Bible study that I was sneaking into as a high schooler, and it was David Crowder, and he played this song "You're Everything," and it talks about how like God like calls and he beckons us, and I remember that was the first time I'd ever heard him, and that began my obsession. But then from there, like having like really like honest conversations about where I was at. Like I think that was probably one of the first times I ever like talked about like struggling in faith and not just pretending to have it all figured out. And I think that's where I started to have like make those steps to coming back and changing this like disconnect that I've been having with the Lord. And so I think like music, and so like that song and David Crowder is always kind of a trigger for me in that way. And then also like having like deep relationships that I met in college where I could have like serious conversations about where I was struggling really kind of helped bring me back out of like that place where I felt far from the Lord.
Yeah. I talked last week about a relationship I was in and how God basically had to rip it out of my hands, or a couple weeks ago. And I think that I just struggled for a long time. I still struggle with guilt and shame. I'm just kind of driven that way. I want to be good enough, so when I'm not, I really beat up myself. And I remember just being in small group. I said something about it, just kind of vague. And one of the guys in our group was like, when Christ died for your sins, he died for all of them. And it was that moment, it wasn't like he didn't know that you were going to commit those sins, but all of them were covered at that moment before any of them even happened. And I just kind of had to swallow that and wrestle it a little bit. And something I just have to kind of think about often is that there is nothing like his death didn't miss something, but that it fully covers all of my sin. And even that God just put on my heart, you've got to start confessing, what you talked about last night. I just really want to cover it up. Confession makes me be honest about where I'm at. And then I remember one time in a service, God was like, you got to delete the number. You got to delete his number. And I was like, it's kind of the middle of the service. You're not supposed to have your cell phone out. We weren't using the Bible app then, I don't think. It sounds like shady. But during the offertory, I deleted it. And that was a big moment of freedom. But there were a lot of gradual, little steps of obedience, to kind of move past some of that and then return to him.
I think for me, I talked about a relationship in my freshman year of college. And at that point, I feel like I was learning the most about, or when I learned the most about God and started my relationship with him. But mine is accountability. I started in a small group shortly after that, and I met two of my best friends, Lindsay and Callie, and my small group changed my life. So I am so passionate about small groups, but just what those two girls did, just holding me accountable, when I would slip up or do stupid, dumb stuff, that they were just there to still love me and show me who Christ loves. So I think accountability for me is definitely what brought me back to the Lord, or a good relationship with him.
I was talking about my junior year, and there was a specific moment where something happened, and I woke up the next morning and I've hit the lowest of the lows. How did I end up here? And I didn't know what to do, and one of my favorite people in the world called me the next day. He's like, hey, it's been a while, let's go get coffee. And he's like my big brother. He is so important to me. It was always just checking in. I'm like, hey, the Lord placed you on my heart. I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, Bella, what are you doing? This isn't you. You're being rebellious because you're hurt. I was like, oh, I am. And he's like, A, you have to stop, but B, you have to return to the Lord. And he's like, you're going to write out an action plan, and you're going to place scripture on your wall, and you're going to wake up and go to bed reading this. And little by little, I was like, okay, I'm going to get back in the Word. I'm going to surround myself in worship music, because that just saturates my soul and gets me going somewhere. And little by little, it's okay, we're getting somewhere. God, I was mad, I was angry, I was hurt, but we're gonna process the hurt. We're gonna give this to you. And so it's baby steps, kind of like you guys, of little by little, but I needed someone to remind me that it was okay, and to kind of call me out gently and lovingly of Bella, this isn't you. You're better than this, and what happened is awful, but you're gonna be okay, and I'm gonna help walk through, and you've got so many people on your side. And so it was almost his reminder was a reminder of what the Lord was saying to me, hey, it's okay, come on back. And so that's how it went.
I think for me, so it was beginning in junior year, that's when I was struggling. And so first semester I sat in the struggle, I didn't really do anything about it. But second semester, halfway through first semester, I was like, I can't live like this. So for me, what got me back was getting involved. I didn't necessarily find a church, but Breakaway, I started volunteering. So I had to more than just getting up and going and sitting somewhere and listening. I had to get up and serve and go join. I ended up joining the roadies team. So it's just all guys, group of 20 guys, love God, love to serve. And so just being surrounded by that, I didn't have a choice. It was every weekend. I got tied into towing the trailer, so there was no choice. I had to show up. I couldn't say I'm sick or I had homework. I had to be there. Yeah, I know. I'm selling the truck, darn. So there was no choice. It was being forced to get up and get out of my house and do something with my day, even if it was once a week. And then I got a job, which that wasn't quite as God-centered, but it was being around people and being able to, like, I was the youth minister guy. I was the breakaway boy. It was constantly a joke, but it was always a reminder, like, you love God, and that's how people see you, so live to that standard and live your life like that. So getting out and getting involved was what I needed.
Yeah, sometimes your non-Christian friends are the best accountability for you, because
Yeah,
you're like,
seriously.
wow, they're watching and they will call me out if I slip
They're
up.
paying attention. For
Yeah.
Sure. Well, as we think about, like, as I think about what I said last night and just some of the things that, like, I'm still processing through, especially the idea of, like, needing the Lord, and not just in that moment of conversion, but, like, constantly every day. I think about, like, what am I doing, like, to continue to fill myself up, especially as we pour out, like, we do the whole ministry thing, like I know that I have to have, like, moments of, like, quiet, and
Which is easy in our
I know,
house.
seriously. And, like, especially, like, me playing guitar is, like, a really, like, big place of solace for me to process and to think about the Lord and to worship and to and, like, I picked up the habit of journaling and hadn't done it as much, but, like, those are like playing guitar and journaling are, like, two places that, like, I really like feel like I get to connect with the Lord as I kind of go through my thoughts and think about, like, my day and reflect and, like, challenge myself. And now I'm up to, I think I have, like, 3 different journals. Like, I have, like, my regular journal. This is so nerdy. I have my regular journal where my thoughts go, but then, like, any kind of, like, idea I have goes in my idea journal, which is
Oh
a
my
different
gosh.
journal. Like, because I don't,
Wow.
you don't keep them. You gotta keep them separate. And then the other journal's, like, my notes for, like, work and stuff like that. But I guess that's not really a journal.
That is a notebook.
Or a notebook, or fine.
That
For
makes
work,
sense,
that's a
though.
notebook.
You're such an internal processor that it makes sense that you would have to
Yeah.
have some things.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's how I, like, if there's any way for me to continue to remind myself of my need for the Lord, it's got to be in these moments of quiet.
Mine 100% is the same. As I said 100 times, I love routines. Every morning, I drop the kids off at like 8, and I come to the office. It's quiet. There's no one in there, and for 1 full hour, I get to journal by myself and read a book and read the Bible, and it's the best part. And literally, my days feel off when I don't have
Yeah.
that 1 hour. Well, it doesn't have to be a full hour, but I do love to read. So reading books, and I think journaling is a big one for me, but quiet time, just even 30 minutes by myself is like where it's at.
Yeah.
Balance is one. Like, I am all about balance in life. I remember, I think it was like right before Guatemala, the week before, I had like 6 lunches and coffees planned with students. And that next week I had 4, and I was like, I have nothing left in me to give to anyone, because I like overgave.
Yeah.
I'm an extrovert, but I'm an extroverted introvert, so like I need that time to rest and process. And so journaling, absolutely. And just quiet time of like, okay, we're gonna breathe, we're gonna relax, put some more music on, just rest. And just kind of like learning to say no and finding balance, because if I overgive, then I have nothing to give because I didn't give myself a chance to fill up. So like having that space in there to pause, to rest, to read my Bible, journal, do all of those things, and just leaving space for it, I think, is the biggest way that I can fill up, because it gives me time to fill up.
Yeah.
So
For me, just a little thing. I have to start my day right, so I wake up at the last possible second to show up to work 7 minutes late.
It's okay. Your bosses are way later every day.
No, I'm still on
And you have
time.
to search for that one cup that you're
That I just don't have
That you
enough
still
coffee
have.
mugs sitting around.
He leaves a lot of coffee cups around the office.
There's like 3 over there, 2 in my car. But so I don't have a whole, I don't schedule any time in the morning, but it's just on the drive here, listen to worship music or something that puts my heart in the right space versus like a workout playlist or something.
The one yesterday was bumping.
High school freshman Jared, he's a rebel, I guess. He's also a loser.
Emo's the right word.
Freshman Jared was cute.
Yeah,
Big
but he listened to
cheeks.
hardcore rock, I guess. But besides that,
Let's put a picture right now.
yeah,
Too bad you edit it.
Okay, but that's like a little thing I have to do in the morning. But I'm very much introverted. Working on a staff of extroverts, y'all drive me nuts. Every day. Every day I'm drained. But it's great.
You're welcome.
So I have to take alone time. Just be alone, not have to talk, not have to think. So that's why I'll watch a lot of TV, which I probably should cut back on. But just alone time to recharge, because I need that to recharge. And a lot of that alone time will be working out. So that's to work out the anxiety in my brain, is to just to work out, to move my body, to challenge myself like that. I don't have to think, I just do. And so that's how I keep myself, I guess, recharged and ready to feel
To
like
put up with
kinda-
us again. Then.
Yeah.
Right. We're
It
sanctifying.
never
that.
ends.
Well, I think I'm the extroverted extrovert, so I don't really want to be alone that much. But so people are huge for me, and I, hanging out with students or doing ministry or taking care of my kids, I just need a lot of time with like peers, I think. And so one of the best ways I get filled up is through my Marco Polo app that I talk about all the time. But just 2 of my best friends, and I have other friends on there that also fill me up, but Lindsay and Sarah, just the way that they challenge and encourage and pray, like we just have this special relationship that's really been so fruitful for me. Like Lindsay's a 2 on the Enneagram and Sarah's an 8, so Lindsay just speaks a lot of life over me, and Sarah gets me fired up to take over the world, and it's just been such a blessing to have friends that do that. And I don't have a lot of discipline. I don't have a workout playlist because I don't work out, but to have accountability is essential for me, and so talking to them so regularly helps me stay in line and find ways to fill myself up. So yeah.
It's crazy because we have all these different things that we do, but knowing that we need to fill ourselves up, so that way we can continue to give. If we don't fill ourselves up, we feel
Cancel all our lunches.
cancel everything because we feel it. We feel drained, and
But we're 5 different people with 5 different personalities
Yeah.
and interests, and God can work through all of those different personalities, and He's not limited to one way.
yeah, which is beautiful.
Yeah, He's pretty cool.
Me or the Lord?
Both.
That's how
But
you
He's
end it.
cooler because He's God.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mainly you.
Arrogant.
And we're done.
We'll wrap it up? Okay.
That's how we're gonna end it.